Stampers, welcome to the craft room. In today's video I want to show you how to do a quick fun technique that I am calling Acrylic Block Color Wash, and that's how we're going to go ahead and create this really cute background for this focal image. So let's get started. To do our acrylic block color wash, we're going to be using a Stampin' Up! Acrylic block. This happens to be the E-size acrylic block. And we're also going to be using 3 of our Stampin' Write markers. I've chosen them in 3 consecutive colors, so Pretty in Pink, Regal Rose, and Melon Mambo, so kind of steps up in the pink family. And I'm also going to be using a small mister that I've put some water in. And what we're going to do is take our lightest color marker and the brush tip side, and we're just going to go ahead and start to color our block. And I know this color is pretty hard to see because it is so light, but you can see a bit of the gloss of the color when you're actually coloring. Now we're taking our next color, which is the Regal Rose color, also on the brush side, and you want to make sure that you're covering a little bit over where you just colored so that you don't have any white areas. And then finally we're going to take our Melon Mambo marker and also do a bit of coloring around connecting all 3 colors together. Next we're going to take our small water bottle that has water in it, and we're going to do some spritzing. And we just want to get that all nice and watery. You could see it starting to kind of float together. And now we're going to take a small piece of cardstock. This particular piece is 2 inches by 2.5 inches. And all I'm going to do is press that down onto this watered down ink. And once you know that you have complete coverage, we're just going to lift up in the corner and take a look at what we have. And you can see that there are some areas that didn't get coated, and that's fine because we have all of this ink remaining. So I'm just going to go and dab and pick up a little bit more ink in that darker color there. And you can also, if you wanted a little bit darker color here, come and pick up some of that ink there. And you can keep going until you use up all of the ink on your block, or until you're satisfied with the look that you have. So I'm really starting to like that look. So once you feel comfortable with it, we're going to set the block aside. Actually, I'm just going to wipe off my block here so that it's completely dry and clean. And I'm going to place this back on here and use this to heat on, because right now your cardstock, as you can see, is quite curled and it's also quite wet. So all we're going to do is use our heat tool to dry out our piece if we don't have any patience, like I don't right now. So let's go ahead and give this a shot of air so that we can dry it out. And you'll notice as we're drying the front side that the cardstock is curling, so I like to go back and forth drying the front side and then the back side to try to flatten the paper a bit. And that's feeling pretty dry now. You can kind of curl the paper just a little bit to try to flatten it as you would like. You could also iron your cardstock if you wanted to be that particular, but I'm going to go ahead and just use it as is with a little bit of curl. And then you want to figure out which side you want to be the up side. So I think I'm going to leave that as the facing up side. And now we're just going to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to grab my basic black classic ink, and I'm also going to grab this crown image from the Artistic Etching stamp set, and we're just going to ink up this crown and go ahead and stamp that right on here. There we go. And then I'm going to grab a greeting. I've grabbed this Happy Birthday Wishes greeting. This is from the Bring on the Cake stamp set, and we're going to stamp that. And I'm actually going to use my Stamp-A-Majig so that I can get things centered. So I'm just going to put a little temporary adhesive down so that this little piece doesn't go moving anywhere. Next I'm going to grab my imaging sheet and my little cornering tool here on my Stamp-A-Majig, and I'm just going to line that up. And I'm going to stamp using some Melon Mambo Classic ink. So let's go ahead and ink that up and get that stamped on our imaging sheet. And now we're going to go ahead and line that up where we would like it on our little focal piece. And I like it sitting right about there. So we're going to bring our corner back in. Go ahead and ink up our stamp again with Melon Mambo ink and stamp that right down. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and place this on our card before we do some additional embellishments, since those embellishments are going to be a little wet. So I want to make sure that this piece is already on my card before I go ahead and add those wet embellishments. So I've just taken a piece of Melon Mambo cardstock. This piece is 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and I've scored it in the middle and just gone ahead and folded that in half. And I like to just take my bone folder and give that crease some nice definition. And then we're going to use dimensionals to pop up our little focal point. So I'm going to place some dimensionals on back and then adhere it to the card base. I'm just going to center that as best I can, a little bit up higher than down lower, and attach that to our card like so. Then what we're going to do is grab our Dazzling Details, which is the glue form of the Dazzling Diamonds glitter, and we're just going to go ahead and add glitter to our crown to give it a little bit of bling. I'm actually going to do this whole band right here to give it even more bling. A little bit more there to the top. And the last thing that I'd like to add to this card are a few of our adhesive rhinestones. So I'm just going to take 3 in a row here and just go ahead and add them here to the bottom right corner of our focal piece. So there you have it, a really fun way to create this color wash background using your acrylic blocks. This is another card that I shared with you yesterday on my blog using the same technique, a little bit different because instead of using my Stampin' Write markers to apply the different color inks to the block, I actually just used my ink pads and rubbed them against the acrylic block. And here's one more that I did using a few different colors. I believe this one was Marina Mist, Pretty in Pink, and also Wisteria Wonder from the In Colors. So there you have it, a really fun way to use your acrylic blocks and your ink colors to create some really pretty color washed backgrounds for your cards and papercraft projects. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon here in the craft room.